Hello, welcome back to the presentation Contemporary Spirituality, Law of Cause and Effect, Part 3. Nice song we have heard. The text of this chorale from Tessé is: God, protect me, I trust you. You show me the way to life. There is joy with you, joy in abundance. There is a theory, it's called the Armageddon theory, which I consider as very dangerous. It's also called dispensationalism. Dispensationalism, very difficult word, yeah? The inventor of this theory is called Cyrus Scofield, and he was living a long time ago. In America, 70 million people, they believe on this Armageddon theory. Part of this belief is that there will be chaos and destruction everywhere, and then that the Messiah will come back on a cloud, and the people will be raptured, saved. Not all, only some. When Armageddon is won, Christ will be on the throne of King David in one Jewish temple, sit and rule the world from there. Fundamentalist Christians speak of the inevitability of nuclear war. We should somehow maybe speed up so that the Messiah comes faster. Very dangerous, this story, because it's not true. It's not true, absolutely not. This is absurd. How can God want that? It can only come from the opposite side. In the event of a nuclear war, there will be nothing left on the earth. In the rest of the world, too. In the Middle East and the rest of the world, too, because of the subsequent effects of contamination, etc. Jesus Christ works exclusively in the positive. The earth should last as long as possible for reincarnations. Desires for chaos and destructions are exclusively matters of the negative side. Also, to push the global panic. The lower nature of the outer ego must be overcome. Materialism and impulses must be put aside before the Christ can be revealed in the heart. This is the inner final battle, my personal Armageddon. The Armageddon is inside us. Old structures must die and be destroyed and overcome, that we are focused on our heart, on the light of God within us. What is the true Christ and what is the Antichrist? That's the question today. It's not so easy, but you have some signals which let you feel and answer this question. If the Christ represents the eternal, the unchanging law, the Antichrist represents its reversal. The Christ was shown to us by Jesus. It includes lift, faith, love, humanity, compassion, love for everyone, even the marginalized or strangers. You will recognize them by their deeds and love. People and nature are the most important. Profit and money secondary. Freedom and free choice are very important, which is why there is no constant intervention in our life. It allows different perspectives. Anything else is manipulation. Law and justice are fundamental. Condemnations of people do not belong to Christ. Where Christ unites, the Antichrist wants to separate. The Antichrist's motto is divide and dominate. Divide and rush against each other. Compassion disappears, selfishness manifests. The reversal of the values. The good is seen as bad and the bad is seen as good. For example, the journalist Ray Lozius from a German newspaper, The Spiegel, he get many awards, journalism awards, even though what he was telling was all not true. It was all a lie. But he get awards. Where mammon is above man and human is sacrificed for it. For example, for healthy people are not a business for the pharmaceutical complex. Only sick people generate profit. Fear and powerlessness is spread, which makes people susceptible to manipulation. Where another person's body is disposed of. Where simple people are severely punished, but powerful people can act criminally without punishment. Where freedom is restricted through manipulation. Where the truth is twisted. Where lies are told for the sake of power, is the energy of the Antichrist spreading. Wherever people's personal responsibility is restricted, people are forced to do something, destroying human basic values such as family, gender, traditions, or culture. There is a basic law in the universe. It's called the law of cause and effect, also called the law of karma. Faith in Jesus alone is enough, some people say. But does this answer the question of the reason for something? The people who believe in Jesus go to paradise, and the others who try to be a perfect person don't. Can this be true? Forgiveness is very important, because otherwise criminals would never repent. But does that really wipe out everything? Does the Creator only save those people who have accepted Jesus as their Lord? Religious enlightenment is no matter of will, just like I can't fall in love on command. Wouldn't all of this be very unfair and a contradiction to a just Creator? There must be other laws in the cosmos. In the law of the cause and effect, the law of karma, I'm no longer at the mercy of enlightenment. I can create my own joy. Anyone can do that. It's a good message. I harvest what I sow. What I do will come back to me sooner or later. This can go beyond the borders of death. What you are could be the result of what you have been before. What I do makes fate. Everything has a cause. Recognizing and changing these although changed the effect. An illness can be a message to show us the right path for inner healing. We experience certain situations in order to resolve certain things from the past. We always get exactly what is right for us at the moment. The purpose of the law of cause and effect is to bring man to insight through difficulties and illnesses, and thereby change his behavior and character for a better status. Compensate for the suffering caused with good deeds. Live the opposite of the negative, and the good energies will come. I no longer blame others, the family, the state, the system, because I recognize that I'm fully responsible for myself and my reality. I no longer depend on others. I create my own happiness. Isn't that a good message? I'm no longer a victim, but a creative designer. I no longer fight against the dark, but for the good. the master rises to higher level. I try to control and strengthen my thoughts, moods, characters, qualities and powers. I use my talents, virtues and abilities. This assumes that I move from I to you and from you to we. In this way, I become part of a larger principle, the principle of a human family. Everything that happens now has a meaning. Sometimes we only realize this meaning afterwards. A disability or an unattractive body shape has nothing to do with the law of karma. I find deep joy in working for other people and the community. Because I know that it is important and that this is the only way I can continue to develop. This is how I grow into perfection and at some point leave the will of the rebirth, and then I'm coming into another higher level. A wonderful league without a dual world. That means a world with good and bad. The key is the major character as one experiences the spiritual masters. The reward for the cheerful effort in this awareness a reason for deep joy and serenity. There are Bible sources for that. In Matthew 7:12, whatever you want people to do, you do. You won't get out of there until you have paid the very last farthing. Matthew 5:26. But not all suffering is determined by karma. But blaming will have an impact. Blaming anybody will have an impact. Some things we choose before our incarnation, and they are in our life plan because we as souls saw a sense in this experience. There are situations that are so big that many people are affected, for example war or natural disasters. However, even during these major events, there is still the possibility of remaining protected. There are situations that we can only experience because we have deviated from our life plan. Our soul and our spiritual guidance then try to give us signs again and again. We can always ask ourselves what we learned from the situation. When people ascend, they are greatly tested, which inevitably results in suffering, but also maturation and development. How do I achieve a high level of consciousness? The high consciousness cannot arise from a simple desire, but by applying the knowledge of eternal truth. Meditation, prayer, study of scriptures, spiritual texts, etc. can help. The easiest way is through applied selflessness. There's incredible freedom in modesty, true service to others, by taking responsibility. Living well with great responsibility is a sign of high consciousness. Through love for all creation. It is not reserved to Christians alone. You don't teach it, you learn it through life itself. But without true charity, they are essentially worthless. There's a list of levels of consciousness from 1 to 1000, and you can try to find at what levels you are. Different timelines. It's dark, but I'm singing. It's dark, but I'm singing. This is a nice song from Brazilian, and he expresses a lot. We can experience a paradise also outside. It's dark outside. It's not a good situation. There are different timelines next to each other, sometimes very close to each other. One experiences a time as hell, the other one as paradise, almost the same situation. That's depending on what is inside us. I appreciate the beauty of nature, the joy of creativity, and the wonderful time with children. And I feel in the flow, often like I'm in the paradise. A neighbor lives in a similar external circumstances, but he often feels the opposite of what I perceive. That means it depends very much on my internal orientation and perception. When I'm in love, everything shines. I can let him be in love with God or Jesus, and you're always happy. My mother is more than 96 years old, and she's still happy because she's living that. Why all the sufferings, illness, wars, and natural disasters? Suffering is and remains a mystery. An illness can lead to healing, development, and necessary changes in life. Eckhart Tolle said, a friend was suffering persistently and severely. At that, the whole egoism was burned away. Does suffering also change something in us? Burn something for development? It is man and his greed that causes war and environment destruction. It's not God who is doing that. We humans are free beings, and the good powers respect this freedom. By the way, not the evil forces. Also for the freedom to make wars or destroy the environment. There is also a karmic legacy that is suffering from previous lives. Karma still needs to be paid off to ensure further ascension. There's also suffering with others or with what is broken in the world or politics. This is a sign of a higher level of human development. The indifference is the opposite and dramatic for the world at all levels. Jesus and many other great masters also suffering greatly. Certainly, it was not due to guilt. Apparently, this is also a process to reach even higher levels of consciousness. Ways out of suffering. The meaning I prayed, I suffer from so many ailments. It is a prayer. This makes my life so difficult. I no longer understand the meaning. Why should I be still alive? I felt the answer: to love your fellow human beings, and especially those entrusted to your care. One small word, and everything inside me changed. I was just busy with myself. How do I become happy? Suddenly, I rediscovered the meaning of life. Love. We live to love. From I to you. From I to we. How could I have forgotten it? This is based on Eugen Ionesco. Dealing with the law of karma karma, inheritance, guilt, and atonement. Sometimes we suffer and we don't know why. Perhaps it's the result of suffering we experienced earlier or in a previous life. Who knows? But it always has something to do with someone else. I can definitely reduce it if I proactively try to help other people. And this will have a positive effect on my karma. In short, to live altruism. Whatever it was, I thereby reduce my suffering from old guilt or old karma. And it works. Richard Rohr says, since we cared about others and take political and social responsibility, we are doing much better. We also develop in leaps and bounds, meet great people, and get so much in return. Much more than if we tried hard to work. Isn't that great? Thank you for listening and maybe looking this part of the presentation. And I wish you the best, good enlightenment, happiness until we meet again in the next presentation. Bye-bye.